Welcome back, everybody. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but nevertheless we are back, and as you can see, there's been major position changes as 6th downwards have gone for a pit stop, including Jack down there in P17, as he did go for a pit stop on to the medium compound tyres and went back to the hards, and he can take those hards to the end theoretically if he wants, or if he can do. I'm not quite sure how long those hards could go. But these guys below from P6 on the medium compound tyres, that could be a good choice because they've got 2 sets of mediums in their toolkit and they're disposable. So they know that the top 5 are going to have to pit again, or pit for the first time. And these guys will pit onto the medium compound tyres. So we'll see how it all pans out. These guys on a fresh set of the medium compound tyres can utilise those and try and make up a few the positions they need. And Walter gets Oreen in there. Let's see who's made the better strategy choice. And we're about to go for the second half of the race. The safety car is in after a Super Bowl crash, but you can see Walter already alongside the Red Bull there of Kyle. He's about to take one position of one driver already in the space in around one corner, but they go side by side. Kyle is not giving up that easily, but Walter's going to go around the outside anyway with a fantastic move, and I think Kyle might let rotation go because of different strategies, and rotation proving to be the faster driver. No disrespect to Kyle, of course, but different tyres obviously, and rotation has to make up the positions. He's crucially not fighting Pyro as he was in the first half of the race. So does he have the pace to match Walter? But Walter, the best thing about that is he has his teammate ahead of him, Kenny, and Kenny can hold up rotation if he wants to as well. So Walter's about to make a move on his Mercedes teammate. Obviously not putting up too much of a fight as Kenny, because he knows his teammate is faster and has a chance of winning the race, so there's no point fighting someone on fresher tyres. So rotation has to make that move as quick as he can, so Kenny could do a big favour for rotation and keep him behind for as long as he can, if he can of course, because rotation's on a brand new set of the medium compound tyres and he'll maximise them to his advantage. And Walter sets about Leroy, chasing Leroy as well in the Alfa Romeo, so rotation can't afford to stay behind Mercedes long because he's got one car between him as Nathan has overtaken Kyle. He moves himself up into P7 there ahead of the Red Bull, and the Aston Martin then Francis has moved on the inside. That is Sieb. Kyle goes off the track, and Sieb is not lingering behind the Red Bull because he's on much fresher tyres and doesn't want to lose his touch to Nathan like he was in the first half of the race. But rotation, he's going to make a move down the inside. Talk about making a move down the inside. Walter he's going side by side with Leroy out of the corner there, and Walter with better tyres, better traction, he moves himself up into P3. That's bad news for rotation if he wants to follow Walter, because he's got 2 cars in between himself and rotation. So and Walter, sorry. So rotation has to make those moves as quick as he can, and he can't afford to get stuck behind, especially when the DRS activates. With these guys here having the DRS and rotation will get stuck there, he can't afford to do so. He needs to overtake him ASAP to keep in touch with Walter.
Indeed.
Oh.
This race is really spiking up as rotation has gone down the inside there of Ken here, overtaking for 5th place here. Rotation trying to gain as much time to Wouter, of course, who's also on the alternative strategy here. But I don't know why guys stay out, to be honest, because they're pit stop behind now, as Naven's now overtaking Ken here. But they're now pit stop behind, and with the pit stop being so long, as the speed limit is quite low here, they're gonna need to gain an awful lot of time, as Wout's already overtaken Power here for P2 now. So Wout is making quick work of it, as Aurelian's had a really good safety car restart, being 1.7 seconds clear now, as Nathan's also overtaken Leroy now, as Kyle has spun. Kyle unfortunately has spun in the final sector here, dropping down to the last now, and still fit to make a pit stop here. So his race has turned out to be a disaster at the moment. And Nathan's looking quite good as well, also on the medium tires, following rotation here. And yeah, so Sieb is now also trying to overtake Leroy here, but just couldn't make it work.
Yeah, Leroy on the outside line had better traction, had carried more speed than Sieb Gamer. He had to get ahead of him before the corner anyway. So Sieb was alongside him, and he couldn't quite get the move done. Bob here in the pit lane, and Kyle, something's happened to him. I think he spun again in the final corner. That's why the yellow flags are popping out in the last corner. So unfortunately Kyle is struggling in this race. He is quick, Kyle, and maybe not at his track, or maybe hasn't practiced or anything like that, but I'd love to see what he can do in Cone if he is going to be a driver here, reserve driver. I think it's his first appearance here in CRL, and Leroy there has got off the track once again and C will be all over the back of him. It should be an easy overtake from C because he's on a fresher set of mediums, so we should have got it done ages ago. But Leroy kept it at bay for all that time. He lost his time towards Nathan, but finally he's made the move on Leroy and able to set his sights on Nathan ahead, who was fighting before the safety car happened. But I agree with you. Why didn't the top guys pit? Maybe just go for a different strategy. Kenny there going side by side with Leroy, both on the same tyres, but they both get contact and they're both off the track as well. And that is so similar to what we've seen in the past before. Drivers connecting wheels, and Kenny and Leroy have fortunately both got off track there, and they rejoined further down than they would have wanted to be. And a few drivers have gained from that, including CPI Troy, who's back into P9, so it looks like it's going well for him. But let's see how many more moves he can make on the guys further ahead. But did you see that, Sivan?
I missed it because I was on board with Wouter, who's close to gap to Aurelian here, but it just looked like both cars were just side by side, I'm guessing, into turn 10 here, and that corner is so fast and pretty tight, so if you make slight contact you can easily just spin out, which is what happened with Leroy and the guy he collided with. So just an unfortunate incident here. Leroy did stay out under the safety car here, but this has not worked out here, as the medium runners have just so much more speed at the moment. But then again, his race is not over, as he can now go to the end of the Grand Prix and use those fresh tires. As rotation is overtaking Barrow now for P3 here, so I think the mediums can go to the end here, but they'll really have to manage those tires till the end. As Wouter, we completely missed, has taken back the lead here of the Grand Prix here, so he's winning the Grand Prix at the moment and looking to clear Aurelian of the DRS here. But this is where the race could spice up again, because if Aurelian can stick with Wouter, he can use those harder tires to full advantage here, as the mediums of course will degrade quicker than the parts.
Rotation's made a few mistakes in the corners, he's got a bad exit, but all really is finally in the pit lane then, so the tyre life will be 5 laps different to what Walters is. I wonder if that make a difference or not, but Pyro then doesn't have DRS. I don't think either of them have got DRS. In fact, Rotation has got DRS, but Rotation made a few mistakes going on the slow speed corners. Pyro was able to go underneath him, but eventually Rotation won that battle in the end. And look at Nathan all over the back of Pyro. He's in a podium position here, is Nathan, and keeping out of all the trouble here, going on the right strategy too. And he can find himself on the podium, but he's dragging along a whole bunch of cars with him, which is Sieb and AJ. AJ fancies the chance of a podium in Monaco Grand Prix until he made that mistake at Raskas, so be hoping to make amends here. I think AJ's had good races around here in the French GP, if I remember, because he was stuck in that DRS train for quite a while as well, fighting for a podium a few seasons ago here in Paul Ricard. But yeah, Nathan's got a big shot at podium because he knows Pyro's going to pit for his first pit stop as well. So once Pyro's out of the way, he's on the podium and Rotation is next, and we'll see what happens from there. So where is Aurelian? He's rejoined down in P13 on a brand new set of the medium compound tyres. But bearing in mind though, if those mediums on Walters and Rotation can't go to the end, they've got another set of mediums in their disposal, because everyone has 2 sets of mediums going for the balanced strategy. I presume everybody's going for the balanced strategy because that was the way to go before the patch came out. Even in 2021, everyone had 2 sets of mediums, so he's always got that option if he wants to pit again. I'm not quite sure if those tyres can make it to the end. 19 laps is a big stretch. Well, bearing in mind they did a few under the safety car anyway, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of crazy things happen here before in CRL, and we'll see if those drivers can make it towards the end. But Walter had a comfortable buffer over Rotation of 3.7 seconds. After the first few races of the season not really gone his way, things are finally looking up for Walter, and can keep it that way till the checkered flag.
Totally, and with Pyro still have to make a pit stop here. He will be around Aurelian, who's currently in P13, so this is a massive opportunity for Wouter to gain back some points in the championship. But you do have to realize that Troy is now in P7, and Sieb, who's also high up in the standings, he's also within the top 7, so this is a good option for Sieb and Troy to also gain some points to Pyro here. So the championship is very interesting to say the least, even though it's early on still. Only 2 drivers have penalties at the moment, being Ken and Yuri, so all the drivers are quite safe, to be honest here. So that's always a good point here, as Wouter's really pulling away from rotation here. Wouter putting in a good show at the moment here. He's really making gaps, so he could be making a second pit stop here potentially, hence why he's pushing quite a lot. He's got no ERS pretty much left here, so let's see how it's gonna go for Wouter, but he's doing a really good job at the moment.
If he was to make a pit stop, I think he would have done it by now, because the undercut threat from Orveden is, well, I think he's undercutting if he pits now, Wouter, so I think he might be going towards the end of the race. But if a safety car does come out, then I think a pit stop will be imminent for these drivers on the medium compound tyres. Pyro going for a very long stint on the hards to mediums, and he's doing a good job despite being a big DRS train and guys around him on a fresh set of the medium compound tyres. So we'll see how that holds out for him, as already that's the fastest lap of the race then on those brand new set of medium compound tyres. And Pyro, Kenny and Jack have got to make a pit stop. Jack theoretically doesn't have to, but he's been on those tyres since the start of the race, and so I don't think those tyres can go towards the end. If they can, he's done a mega job. But Orveden will have cleared 3 cars, Pyro, Jack and Kenny. It's just the rest of those other medium runners that he has to clear if they don't make another pit stop then. So that's lots of overtakes to do, and you know, being in a DRS train is very difficult, so that's going to be a big challenge for him if he can catch up to those drivers. I think he would do. First target is Jack though, on an old set of the hard compound tyres, so we'll see how many positions he can gain before he gets to those medium runners. But Pyro's going to pit once more, well, for his first and only pit stop. He did a good job though, hanging on to the back of rotation despite being on all the tyres, so yeah, it's not going too bad for Pyro so far.
Indeed, indeed. This could just be the mediums already fading out slightly, because they did pit on laps 7, I'm pretty sure. So they've been on them for about 10 laps, I think. Even though there's of course a safety car out there. The mediums are about on the same performance at the moment here. So Pyro is doing a good job on them. While Wouter's really getting the maximum out of these tires here. 5 seconds clear at the moment, and not looking back at all here. I'm not sure where he would rejoin if he pits compared to Aurelian here, but certainly will be close here. But Aurelian has got really good pace on those medium tires here, so it's going to be interesting to see where he's going to end up if all the rest of the guys who pitted for mediums are going to end up on the grid.
I'm not quite sure about the tyre life in this game, because I haven't driven too many races, and obviously I've not driven this track for a long time. But here comes Choye trying to make a move on Liam, but Liam has the inside line, brakes later than the Ferrari driver and stays ahead of him. These two are having a scrap a few laps before, and now they're at it again with Troy getting a decent exit here right to the back of the Alfa Romeo, draining his ERS. So is the Alfa Romeo, so is the Ferrari too. But yeah, Troy can't get close enough to make an overtake. Sieb desperately trying to overtake Nathan. He had a few goes at Nathan before, but Nathan opens the door, allowing Sieb to walk through it. They go side by side on board with AJ. Then Nathan has the inside line for the next left-hander here, and we'll see try to stick it around the outside. Yes, he will. They both make contact. Sieb has to go on the curb here, both in LT of course. So Steve is watching.
Indeed,
with his heart in his mouth.
Also indeed, and AJ is also behind us. Yuri's going to the pits now, so he thinks the mediums can't make it to the end. So that's the first one to react to the alternative strategy right here. The McLaren driver has made a pit stop. He's gone onto the hard tires again, very interestingly. So I think he just only picked one set of... Oh no, wait, they used the medium set of course in the sprint race. So they only have one medium set for the race. So that's an interesting thing to have here. So all these drivers ahead have to stick it out till the end. So Aurelian could be on for a good strategy if the hard or the medium tires can't make it till the end.
Completely forgot about this sprint race. That's a very interesting point. I'm not quite...
sprint race was rain, of course. Never mind.
Oh yeah. Never mind then. So they do have
Never
two sets
mind
of
then.
mediums. But look at AJ going side by side with Liam once again, and AJ has the edge over Liam. They both make contact slightly. Here comes Troy then, having another go at Liam, and finally gets him. Could he take 2 for 1 here? He can't out-drag AJ though, and he goes up into P7. But these guys fighting has cost them a little bit because they're losing their DRS touch towards Seba Nathan. AJ opens up the door for Troy, and Troy is going to go up the inside once more again on AJ. But this time AJ has the edge over Troy. He stays in P6 there, but Troy gets in a wider entry to get a slingshot exit, and once again he's got a really good exit. He's going to go side by side. It's the left-handed go. Troy has kept his ERS on though. He needs to turn it off in these slow speed corners, otherwise he's going to lose traction. AJ goes late on the brakes. Troy has to go off track. As you can see there, Troy's wheel spinning because he kept his ERS on. You don't want to do that in the corners, otherwise you'll end up spinning with a lot of wheel spin with more power than you really want in those corners. And AJ there up into P5 as he has DRS. Liam comes back on Troy, and so Troy has lost 1 place again. Interesting fights going on there. AJ outbroke himself in the final corner. That's why Troy went off the track there. But yeah, this fight is immense between these guys here.
Indeed. Our strategy is really opening up here as Power and Ken have made a pit stop, and Power rejoined 8 seconds behind Aurelian here. So that's the gap Aurelian made really over these couple of laps here. So Aurelian has got really good pace at the moment and will get those tires till the end of the Grand Prix here. So I'm not really sure if the top guys what their strategy is gonna be, because they either pit now or stick it out till the end here. I can understand why if you're that high up in the standings at the moment, then you would of course stay out, try to get a top 5 finish here. So it's really interesting to see what's gonna happen if Power picks up a penalty, the third driver to pick up a fourth driver, sorry, to pick up a penalty, unfortunately. So that will definitely won't help him on his scores to get a good result here. As Nilu picks up a 10th penalty, I'm not sure what happened there. You can probably explain that, Jamie.
I can explain it indeed, as Nathan has pitted then, so he's another driver that makes a pit stop with 7 laps to go in this race, and so these tyres can't go to the end of the Grand Prix then, which explains why Pyro will get a big jump on Nathan being on the soft compound tyres, but will they stretch out towards the end of the race there? But the top 3, what are they going to do? If Walter pits now, he's going to rejoin behind O'Reilly, who's moved himself up into P9. So Walter's got a lot of time to make up if he does pit again. And I think he's got to pit now, because if he does, he's going to run out of laps before he can catch O'Reilly, who's catching Jack as well. Jack still hasn't pitted though on those 18-lap-old hard compound tyres. Bearing in mind though, he did choose the mediums. He did 1 lap on the mediums, then he went back on the hard compound tyres, so theoretically he doesn't have to pit, but he might do if the tyres do get worse and worse. So Jack stretched it out towards the end, and see if he can do so on those hard compound tyres. It'd be a fantastic drive if Jack can do that, but be a challenging one indeed. But we'll see what happens then. Interesting strategy calls going on here. Nathan and a brand new set of soft compound tyres. Softs don't really get used in the race, but they are getting used now, and they're going to do 7 laps on it, which is not ideal for the soft compound tyre because they do wear off drastically at any Grand Prix. But here comes O'Reilly then on the Haas of Jack, and I don't think Jack could put too much of a fight being on those old hard compound tyres, and he moves himself up into P8. Bear in mind those tyres don't look too back on Jack's. They are faded, but not too much as I thought they'd be. So Jack can stretch it out if he wants to go to the end, but be careful if he gets to punch your territory. He didn't go back on the medium compound tyres, as Seb and AJ are in the pit lane then, along with Reservoir, who spawned earlier in the Grand Prix then. So I think Nathan might get the jump on him being on those brand new set of the soft compound tyres then. So Nathan should find himself back up into P3 with the McLaren spinning. And that's every driver's worst nightmare, seeing a yellow flag if you've just pitted, because if there's a safety car, that can really destroy your race with those guys getting the jump of you while you have to follow the safety car delta. But luckily there's no safety car for any of the guys that pitted before. And Ellis Safu, who's picked up all those penalties, he's just picked up another one as well, so that's him in the pit lane to probably retire from the session, because that's what most drivers do once they pick up. Yes, he does retire in the pit lane. That's what I'd probably do.
Indeed. Oh dear. I'm not sure what happened there. He picked up his first 10-second penalty a lap ago. And then other drivers really, or Nilu just picking up way more penalties and just retiring the pits. Probably raging a rage quit, we're just gonna call it. But anyway, we're gonna move on from that as more drivers indeed pit here. Nathan did go for the undercut here and has now got a 2-second gap to Seep here. But since both are on soft tires here, Nathan's tires will be a lot worse as Seep has picked up a penalty unfortunately. But Nathan might have the gap now, but on the last lap Nathan's tires will be a lot worse than Seep's as Wouter's now in the pits. So this is where the race is really gonna spice up here. Same for rotation here. Where are they gonna rejoin to Aurelian here? Has Aurelian done a strategic masterclass here? Let's see if Wouter's tires have already changed here, coming down the pit lane here. Aurelian coming down the main straight now. Jack also staying out here. The gap will be closer than expected, to be honest. It's gonna be really tough for Aurelian to keep that lead, as Jack is gone off to second place here, just ahead of Wouter, who rejoins in P3, with Paro being a couple seconds behind him now, 1.7 to be exact here. So the race is really gonna spice up now as Jamie carry on.
Nathan just rejoined ahead of rotation. Rotation is out of the pit lane and now he's on the soft compound tyres. 2 laps fresher. The race is on between Wouter versus Aurelian. Jack should not be a threat because he's on 20 lap older tyres in comparison to Wouter. So Wouter should get the Haas very easily. There should be no reason why he should be behind the Haas. But after this straight, and that is very easy indeed. So the gap between Aurelian and Wouter is 3.9 seconds. 5 laps to go. Can Wouter catch Aurelian? Aurelian's got a lot of pressure under his hands now to try and keep P1. He's got no ERS whatsoever. Neither has Wouter either. So they're both low on ERS. But Wouter's already gone purple in the middle sector. He's going to be rapid on those soft compound tyres. 5 laps to go left. 3.7 seconds. Keep that in mind. I'm about to see a fight for the lead then. Can Aurelian hold on, or will Wouter able to hunt him down and take the lead of the race then? It's quite unusual to see pit stops towards 5 laps in towards the Grand Prix. So the safety car did intervene. We're about to see what the best strategy is then. Is the mediums or the softs way to go, or is the 1-stop or 2-stop way to go? Because the guys in pit on the end of the first pit stop might be suffering towards the end with the soft runners coming at them later on in the race. Or if you're Jack, just stay out of the tyres you've already been on since the start of the race.
Indeed, as Wouter's really starting to close down the gap, of course, on those fresh soft tyres here. As Nathan has been overtaken by rotation just on those fresh soft tyres, really making those tyres to full effect here. But for Wouter it's going to be crucial to overtake, gain as much time as possible, as Pyro is now up to P3 here. But for Wouter it's going to be crucial to gain as much time within 2 or 3 laps, because those soft tyres will degrade fast. And Aurelian might not be on the freshest of tyres, but Wouter's best chance to overtake on lap 25 when the soft tyres are still at their peak.
Indeed, because we know the soft tyres don't last very long, but we are headed towards these later stages of the race, so it just feels like a 5-lapper towards Wouter's now, as he's been on the soft compound tyres. Will be on the soft compound tyres for 5 laps or so. So yeah, Wouter hunting Aurelian down. Can he defend Aurelian? I'm not quite sure. He'll try and do his best at his home Grand Prix. Bearing in mind, the guys on the medium compound tyres did not pit under the safety car, so that's why they're on the mediums. The guys who are on the soft compound tyres did pit under the safety car, and they've used all 3 tyre compounds, hards, mediums and soft. They've gone all the way from hards to softs. That's very funny. All 3 tyres compounds being used in this race. Liam is all over the back of AJ as well, but rotation could fancy his first podium of the season as well, because Pyro has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. First driver he's going to get rid of is Jack, because he hasn't pitted yet. Well, he has, but that was a long time ago in the race. And Liam is all over the back of the Williams there of AJ. But the gap is now 1.2 seconds. Wouter has caught Aurelian very quickly in this race as well. Not in the DRS zone just yet on this straight, so he won't get DRS on this straight. Well, Wouter, unless he finds 2 more tenths before the line, which he doesn't do. He's just there, but he will definitely have DRS for sure on the next lap, and that's when we'll see the overtakes start to happen. However, rotations drop back. There's a big fight going on in the midfield there. There's so much to keep an eye on. Nathan's got off the track. Seeb has got up to P5 ahead of Nathan. Here comes the AlphaTauri as well, about to be overtaken by the Aston Martin. I see going down the inside here. There's a lot going on in the midfield there. Jack is under big pressure from the soft runners behind. He can't keep that behind for too long because those tyres are starting to fade away, with the guys behind having massive tyre advantage. Choye has got past Liam once again. He's going to go on the outside. That was a fantastic move there from Choye. What a move, but I think Nathan's got full wind damage, explaining why he was so slow in the corner. And AJ's got past Jack, but the Ferrari is spun off Choye. He has spun, and a few drivers had to take evasive action, including Liam and the Mercedes off Kenny as well. But they all sold themselves out, and Nathan unfortunately picking up front wing damage. I'm unsure why. Maybe he hit the back of Jack, because Jack carrying less speed in slow speed corners than the guys on the soft would have been carrying as well. So that explains why Mike picked up front wing damage. But rotation's gone. He's out of the race. Rotation is out of the race, and that's his chance for a podium gone. Wow.
Unbelievable scenes right there as Restify picks up a penalty here. It looks like Rotation and Nathan make contact in turn 4, which led to Rotation spinning out and causing all sorts of chaos here, as Jack and Restify and now Liam and Ken also are in a battle for P6 here, as Ken is going around the outside of Liam here, trying to stay around the outside here. All these drivers on the soft tires apart from Jack was on the hards and Ken on the medium tires.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Very interesting battles here. Aurelian is still in the lead of battle. Go on, Jamie.
Walter is up into P1 ahead of Aurelian, got him on the straight, but Aurelian's still trying to fight back on the Mercedes on Walter, but the grip on the soft compound tires helping him. But here comes Aurelian trying to go back down the inside, but can't quite do so. He tries to put up a fight against the Mercedes driver on Walter, but just not to be, unfortunately, here at the French Grand Prix for Aurelian then. So the strategy, the two-stop strategy here has worked with the benefits of the safety car. It would have been a one-stop strategy if the safety car didn't come out, but lots of things happened in the past few laps there. Nathan and Rotation, like you said, making contact, unfortunately for those two, both on a chance for a podium. AJ will get the podium, no, I don't think he will, because he's too far back behind Sieb. So Pyro will get the podium in the end, because he's got a 3-second time penalty over his shoulders, but Steve's too far back anyway. So is AJ. Resify is back up into P6 despite that spin. Jackson in the top 10, but only just hanging on by a thread, because Troye is right behind him. Troye got caught up in some midfield action as well, and he's fallen back behind Jack as well. But Jack, can he hold on to the top 10? Leroy is 4.4 seconds behind, and AJ is right. In fact, he got past Sieb. He moves himself up into P4 ahead of Sieb in an unusual place to do so. And yeah, I wonder if Sieb there is struggling just a bit. Did he pick up any full wind damage? Because that's an unusual place to overtake, especially when you're on the same tyres as well. So looks like Sieb made a mistake there.
It looks like AJ used a little bit of ERS here and called Sieb out. And it was a lovely move by AJ here, going down the inside there and really gonna push on here. I'm not sure how many laps Paro has been on those tyres here, but it could very much be a podium here for AJ if he can get the gap down. It is going to be quite a push here, but you never know. But it was a lovely move from AJ, who's going to get at least P4 here in the race, which is an awesome performance there for AJ.
I'm just keeping an eye on Jack. Jack has got a left rear puncher. He's finally got a puncher, and those tyres are done. Yeah, that strategy. There was 2 laps to go, and those tyres could not hold on, unfortunately, for Jack, and he spun as well. And yeah, that's unfortunate for Jack. He was inside the top 10, just surviving inside the top 10, but the tyres have cried enough, and unfortunately have teared away. And he's going to have to make a pit stop now onto the soft compound tyres. Can't go the fastest lap either, because it is the last lap of the race, unfortunately for Jack. But the gap between P1 and P2 has been settled, it looks like, because I don't think Aurelian has the pace to try and get himself in the DRS for a last lap attack. He's outside the DRS now, so Walter has got this on the bag, unless he makes mistakes, of course. And it looks like Walter has finally got his season underway after having 3 horrible races at the start of the season, has finally picked up his rhythm, and he's back into P1 where he knows where to be, and looks like he's going to make his way to win his first race of the season. And Jack's continued. He has a bother pitting because he knows it's the last lap, and he's trying to hold on to the very end. But having a puncher in this game is horrible experience, because you just can't go anywhere having a puncher like that. And looks like Liam is not done with Reservoir just yet. Liam's been involved in a battle with the Ferraris for the whole race, including Troye. And let's see if he's about to make a last lap overtake on the Ferrari of Recify. Recify spawned early in the Grand Prix, but has fought its way back up into P6, and Troyer is back up into P9 after making contact in the first lap, and looks like Liam's going to send one of the inside, but too far back to do so on that occasion, it seems. But however, focusing on Walter, he comes across the line to win the French Grand Prix. Kenny's got past Liam, already into P2, ahead of Pyro for another podium for our championship leader, who finishes in P3. Not having the best of races, but still finishes in P3 ahead of AJ P4, Sieb in P5. It looks like Liam trying to move, but he's out of shape coming in the final corner. Recify P6. And what have you seen?
AJ really tried it on those last lap here. The gap was down to 3.2 seconds, and if AJ just had a better final corner, he might have overtaken Pyro here. But that is your top 3 here. But AJ was really pushing on that final lap.
What a race that was. And unlucky to Orvelan though, he stayed out, tried to do a different strategy to his rival, but in the end it looks like a 2-stop was better with a safety car coming out, and the soft runners in the end able to take advantage of that. It looks like it's a 2-stop was the way to go with the safety car coming out.
Indeed. Fancy some podium interviews, Jamie? For this after this awesome Grand Prix?
I would love to, but I really need to get heading off, unfortunately.
Ah, that's fine, that's fine. Well, we're gonna just run it up after this podium here. It was such an awesome Grand Prix to watch here with the different strategies. Many different strategies here, and overall good battling we saw today. Tony's soft tires were, sorry to interrupt, were 81% at the end there, so it was definitely a risk with staying out that many laps.
81%?
Yeah, 81%.
How do you know this?
Tony said that in the Cone chat just now, so it was very much on the limit as I see the podium celebration here. A lovely, I don't know how you call it in English, but a very lovely celebration there from Wouter, getting his first win of the season and getting his championship aspirations underway here for the Mercedes driver.
Orvelan, it turns out it used to be AXA. I remember AXA. So AXA is French. He changed his name to Orvelan. But congratulations to Walter, Orvelan and Pyro for the top 3 podium celebrations. Fantastic job to all 3 of them. But that was an interesting French Grand Prix to say the least, with loads of battles going on in the midfield there. And yet again it goes very quickly, as it always does. Especially the sprint race as well we had early on in the session. But yeah, hopefully next week I come back much better, because I was ill during this Grand Prix. I don't think you noticed because I tried to keep it in, but if I did shout during the Grand Prix, that's because my hearing is not very good due to my illness. So hopefully I didn't shout too much because I can't really hear myself. Maybe I'm shouting louder than I think I am, but thank you so much, Steven, for joining me, and it's been a pleasure to have you as always.
Yeah, your voice was fine. It was certainly fine. You were just your normal Jamie from what it sounded like. So you're a great mate. Quality performance once again. And special shout out to DuWill, who thought I had a smooth voice. So much love to you, brother.
The comment section, we had checked that all race long. I remember the last time we checked it, we got trolled by Jack's mate. Because he said it was going to rain in the race, but it never did. But it did in the sprint race, indeed.
Indeed. But very lovely race today, and I can't wait for next week. Hopefully to see you guys once again next week, all in the chat. See you guys then.
See you later.